So welcome back, everyone. We are live on Facebook, and I am having fun in here today. I want to first of all introduce my next guest, who's been on with me now several times. I have with me Dr. Blake Jr., and you are a 3-time best-selling author. And today we are going to be talking about the book Joseph, Building Financial Literacy. I'm going to get this out right away. Number one, why'd you call it Joseph?
That's Genesis chapter 40, that Joseph. That he was the financier in Egypt. My name just happens to be Joseph, so it's not about me.
But it is about Joseph, and in those times, they were worried about financial literacy way before we are, and that's why we're so bad about it. Really, we've been, honestly. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Okay. When Joseph interpreted the Pharaoh's dream, from that he let the Pharaoh know that there was going to be 7 years of famine, and 7 years of famine and 7 years of prosperity. And then people don't realize that when you look at the market, the actual market has a cycle. It has a cycle to it, and there's 7 years of prosperity and 7 years of famine. So when you look at the Dow Jones, it does that. Every 7 years it goes up, and every 7 years it goes down, cycling like that. And it was doing that for years.
So you teach financial literacy. I want to talk a bit about this. You are a 3-time best-selling author. You also, do you still have your podcast? Are you still doing that?
Still have my podcast.
That's on, it's Facebook Live Saturdays at 11 a.m.
Yes.
And I want to talk a little bit about what you talk about, which is actionable financial literacy. And let's talk about what that is.
Okay, but actionable financial literacy is actually a model. And that model deals with the knowledge that comes in, the action that we need to take on our finances, and then changing that behavior. So within that model, we have the actions that are there. There's economic stewardship, money basic, investing, and borrowing, and then protecting. Those things that we look at on our finances, we look at them on a monthly basis, quarterly basis, semi-annual basis, and those are actions that we need to take hold of. Well, there's also a behavioral aspect to it, and that's, you can look at the behavior in a shopping cart type scenario. So in that shopping cart, what you're looking at is your behaviors in each stage of that action model. So in the shopping cart, you're looking at the economic standpoint of what you're looking at, making sure you're economically looking at your finances the right way. And then if those economic standards you're looking at, if they're making right financial effect, if the standards you're taking making the money pile up, so to speak. And then if there's anything monetarily flawed about the way you're thinking, if you're thinking you'll trying to become a millionaire tomorrow, no. Wealth is systematically created over time. It's not today, it's not tomorrow, it's over time that's created. And if there's anything unrealistic about what you're thinking, you're not going to come unless you hit the lotto. But then if you don't have those fundamental principles in place, you can hit the lottery, but 5-10 years down the road, you'll be broke because you don't have those fundamentals in place about how you're going to create your wealth, how you're going to have that wealth continue to create income for you. And then if you follow those standards, then you got to be able to recreate it with yourself, your family, and then the greater community as a whole. Can what you've done in your life right now, can you teach it to someone else? And can they recreate what you've done?
Well, first of all, they got to want to listen.
Yeah.
So I'm going to think about my kids, right? Because first of all, you also said, too, before we came on, that people really need to look at learning all of this financial literacy way before they actually really start worrying about it and realizing that they should have thought about it a long time ago.
A long time ago, yes. Because I've been an investment advisor for 28 years. And what I find is that sometimes I run into clients that are in their 50s, late 40s, and they're starting to get serious as far as investing and saving is concerned. Well, in your 40s and 50s, you have to put a lot more away to make sure your retirement is secure. Well, that's something we should have thought about in our 20s and 30s. And normally in our 20s and 30s, we're more partying and taking what we have and getting cases of beers and things like that, and we're putting more aside in our younger years to do things that we may not have thought about. And if someone would have come to us and let us know that, hey, if you put something aside now, by the time you get to your 40s and 50s, you won't have as much to do. So even myself, when I was younger, I didn't know those things. So I made sure I instilled that into my children. Now, like my baby girl will be 30 tomorrow, and she's on her way. She's already got a house, got a car. Has actually all four of my kids got master's degrees, but they all have that information and knowledge where they understand that daddy's got you started, so you want to do your thing. So I don't have to worry about them, and that way, once the children have that financial education, they get older, they're buying you stuff, and you don't even have to ask for it. You don't have to worry about it because they're taking.
It's a wonderful thing when that does happen.
Yeah.
Now, we've got our lines open here for everybody to get entered in to win the book, Joseph, Building Financial Literacy. Whether it's for you, whether it's for your kids, this is something that we really do all really need to learn. It's never too late, in my opinion, even though, yes, as we get older, we do have a less time. We have to put more in, let's say. But it is important to learn how and what to do. A lot of people, our world is different today than it was years and years ago, and we have a lot of people who are single who really ought to get this book and start doing this now. I don't care how old you are. It's important to learn what to do. We've all seen this happen over and over and over and over again, where as a group of people, we tend to overspend, and it happens all the time. The book is called Joseph, Building Financial Literacy. Our number here is 602-277-5369, and toll free it's 1-866-536-1100. Call in here, get it, whether it's for you or someone that you know. You can get it on Amazon, also on his website, which is actionablefinancialliteracy.com, or call in here and get it from me for free. That's the first thing you ought to do, because you're saving yourself money, right? If you call in here and get it from me for free. That's financial literacy. So our number here is 602-277-5369. Go ahead.
All right. One of the concepts that's going to be coming in my next book is I talk about what's called the 4 windows of success. The 4 windows is pretty much like a live for today, fund, and plan for tomorrow. And those are 4 basic ways, or 4 things you should have in place before you go outside. And like dealing with
what?
Dealing with individual investment.
Okay.
Like individual stocks. You can have individual stocks, but sometimes people use that as a way of like making up for lost time, so to speak. So you can have a short-term plan, a long-term plan. I Love Me fund. If you're married, it's a We Love Us fund, and then you have your retirement plan.
I like that a lot. I Love Me plan. That's adorable. Or I Love Us plan. I love that. So we plan. That's really cute.
Yeah.
But we do have to plan. I think we had the crash, right? Mm-hmm. And the crash really put people straight there for a little bit. But what happens is we start moving along, and we start, things start getting a little bit better, and, you get money and you start spending it, and we forget about the importance of financial literacy.
Right.
And people, listen up, because right now a lot of people are very, very worried. There's a lot of people right now who have lost money in the stock market, right? And they also have don't know what they're going to do, because some people who were, let's say, baby boomers, a lot of them that listen, that have lost jobs. They're scared to death. What do we do, doctor?
Well, in that situation, if you have like those 4 windows, and you have that one that's short term, if you have those funds set aside, that can help you cushion the blow, so to speak. Back beforehand, they say you normally have 3 to 6 months of your money set aside if you lose your job. Now it's more like 6 to 12.
Oh God, it's a year and a half too, at least.
It takes that long to actually find another position to fulfill what you were making before.
Especially with inflation now. We don't think about those things when everything is good.
Right.
Right.
It is not until you hit that bump in the road and you realize that, oh my goodness, I gotta do this.
The book is called Joseph, Building Financial Literacy. We've got our lines open here for everyone to get entered in to win. Our number here is 602-277-5369. Toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100. Like I said, you could go on his website. You can see it there. Also on Amazon, you can also get it there as well. Or call in here and be financially smart by calling me and getting it for free. Our number here is 602-277-5369, and toll free it's 1-866-536-1100. Obviously, children, we want our children, but you know, we have to be the example, right?
Yes.
We also do. So it's important, whether, it doesn't matter how old you are. This book is for anyone from, let's say, age what?
Say with 18 to, ideally 18 to 45, but even older.
Older, because if you're like me and you need to get on the ball with all of this, our number here is 602-277-5369. We're still live in the room, so we're going to continue talking in here, okay? Go ahead.
I have some research that I wanted to share.
Okay.
And I have the research that I did. It came from Africa, India, and the United States.
Okay.
And it talks about women, and because women live longer, and it's good that they know a little bit more about it as well, because a man is going to be gone. So if you're still going to be here, you're going to need to know a little bit more.
I will tell you that when my father had gotten ill, and he was in the hospital, and he leans over to me and he goes, run to the house and make sure that the bills are paid. Okay, because he was the one that did all of that, right? Mm. And my mother, when I got home, was in the office, had paid all the bills. And you know what she said? I said, oh my God, Mom, Dad, I thought you weren't going to be able to do this. And you know what she said? You got to think them like they don't think you know. Exactly. I thought that was kind of cute.
Yeah.
But you know what we do need, what she knew was to pay the bills, but now we're talking about having the money to pay the bills.
My husband always says, I'm going to be gone before you. I'm going to be gone before you, so you need to make sure you know where everything is, you know how to do everything. I'm like, he's like, I know you'll be fine without me. You don't need me.
You know, interesting though enough, you never know.
You never know. But I teach my wife all this stuff, so she knows how to buy the stock and you know, pick them and figure out which one would be the best. And as we go along, she'll say, "Can I do this right here?" I'll say, "Hold on, we got to think about this, that, and the other." And I let her know, because I was like, "Okay, you good? You good?" Because I don't want her to be out if I leave soon. Because the veteran standpoint, you know, I got stuff. Yeah. And I do the same thing with my kids. I let them know as well. So
here we go.
Right.
In terms of for what you do, though, we're really going to try and focus on the accumulation of it, correct? Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Dry. I'm okay. See the difference, a longer one?
Yeah. This is an awesome opportunity. I really appreciate it.
So welcome back, everyone. We're talking about financial literacy, and obviously the younger that you start, the better. But anytime you start, it is very good to do. You have some research that you want to talk about. We've got our lines open here for everyone to get entered into win. Joseph, Building Financial Literacy, and the book is something that I think everyone really should have it, whether it's for you at 18 on up. really, really is a book that we all really need to learn this. So we've got everyone getting entered in to win. Our number here, 602-277-5369. Toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100. Go ahead and talk about the research.
Okay, so there's three articles that I researched. One was from India, the other was from South Africa, and then one was here from the United States. And each one talked about how women had more of a need to understand financial literacy. And not to say that women don't know, it's just that women live longer than men. And for some reason that, when men are gone, they have a longer need for understanding, taking care of the rest of the family, because men, which is not good for me, but men are end up leaving sooner.
Well, here's the thing, though, too. Women, used to, I'm not sure if it's all now, or maybe they still do, said, you know what, honey, you take care of that. I don't want to deal with that. You take care of that. And the more that you do that, the worse it is for you, because because you do need to know. You need to know what's going on, but not just knowing how to pay the bills. We talked about that at the break, but more so than that, you want them to be able to understand what stocks to buy, all sorts of things. Go ahead.
Right. So one of the things I do is I include my wife in everything. So she understands how to choose a stock, pick a stock, and what to look for, and the understanding. One of the things she does is her and I made a decision to pick out Tesla. It's one of the stocks that we have and one of the holdings. And as we did that back in 2014, my goodness, that was a good choice.
You also bought one, and you said that was a good choice, a Tesla.
A Tesla vehicle.
And there was a reason, when we think about that and we're talking financial literacy, and I want to talk about that because, he's driving a Tesla and you're thinking, wow, I think those are like over $100,000 at the bottom. No, I think they're better now. I think they're less. But tell them why you bought the car.
Well, I bought the vehicle, one, green energy, but also because it doesn't have no oil, no transmission fluid. The only fluid that's there is the windshield wiper. That's the only fluid that's in there. So there's no gas in there, so I haven't gone to a gas station in like 4 years. My wife hasn't been in 7 years. But there's, and then the registration on that thing was only $125 for 5 years. So
there's good reasons to spend good money sometimes.
It
correct?
is, and I haven't had any maintenance issues with mine at all. Only time I had a maintenance issue was when I ran over a nail in a parking lot of Home
And you
Depot.
couldn't have known at Home Depot. Of course, you're going to run over a nail. You got to be careful when you drive in there. Now, you do also have a podcast that's on Facebook Live Saturday mornings at 11.
Yes.
And you want everybody to learn financial literacy. It's very important to you. You want this book to become a book club that people do, and I want to talk a bit about that because you said that you could do virtual book clubs. Go ahead.
Yes. I teach on Saturday on that specifically for financial literacy. So I have financial literacy there. Sometimes I have guests that come on to share their information, but the bottom line is about financial literacy, how important it is. And again, financial literacy is gaining access to economic information and then being able to make use of those concepts. So you got to get the information and then also put that in play. And then the book club is learning who you are and what you do. You got to put that in practice, and learning to do one more thing, one more chance to be great at what you do, and not being afraid of taking charge of being that awesome individual person that you are. So the book club that's on Mondays at 1 p.m. The first one is coming up this Monday.
That's exciting for you.
Yeah. And that's going to be something that we, myself and another awesome person is going to help with me. Joanna Stokely Walker is helping me with that one. So I do these things because I like to help people as well.
Well, you love to be a writer. You're a 3-time best-selling author. We've got our lines open here for people to get entered in to win the book. It's called Joseph Building Financial Literacy. You can get it on Amazon. You can also go onto his website. You can check him out there and buy it there if you want, but you can be smart and save your money and call me. Get entered in to win a free one. Our number here is 602-277-5369. Toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100. The website, his website, is actionablefinancialliteracy.com. Very, very important for people to be this.
Yes.
Even if you come into money, we want to talk a little bit about that. I know there's a lot of people winning a lot of money, right, in these last the lottery, right? And it's fantastic. A lot of people win money, and when you don't know how to handle money or take care of money and make it grow for you, really, you lose it. And there's a lot of people that lose it within like 3 years, not even 5, very quickly.
Yes, they do, because they're thinking from their old way. The first thing they do is they want to put money down for a house.
A few of them. When you got $1 billion, I wouldn't mind if somebody did it for me, but go ahead. You can do it.
They buy cars. They start buying, start spending without stopping first, taking a deep breath, and setting things up for the family so they can be there for the next generation.
Right, and they really should make it like not a rule, but it's like a rule for people to become literate with money when they win money like that. But I don't think that they do that.
No, they don't, and that's why they end up in a couple of years afterwards broke.
Right, lots of them. Even if, we've got a lot of people in the sports that are big figures, you would believe where they end up sometimes, and it's just so sad to see that. But it happens a lot, not just sports figures, actors, all sorts of people that, just because we don't know really how to handle our money.
Right, and that's the literacy part right there. It's that you can have big bucks but not have big brains when it comes to the money part, and then you end up losing it all. And, I look back at the times when I grew up in the inner city of Baltimore, Maryland, and there was times when I was on, we were on welfare for a little while, and I remember that, and I'm not going back to that. And I said, you know what, my mom gave me knowledge, information, and knowledge to get past that. That's what my book is dedicated to, my mother who's in heaven, and I promised I would always take what I've learned and give back. And there's a lot of people that come into wealth in that way. When you come into wealth, it's the best thing to do initially is act like you don't have it, to allow that wealth to continue to grow and grow for you, and when you do that, it'll grow to enough where to continue to give you income, and you won't ever run out.
Now, we've got our lines open here for everyone to get entered in to win his book. It's a 3-time best-selling book. The number is 602-277-5369, and toll-free it's 1-866-536-1100. Maybe it's you. Maybe you want to give it to someone. Start early. 18 years old is what he said is the youngest person probably be best off for, on up to about 45, but honestly, even 50, 55 on up. We all need to learn how to handle our finances, right?
Yes.
So the most important thing is that, I don't even know. For me, I think about the freedom that you talked about, being financially free. A lot of people have their own stories. I know you do. You came from a very, very, very bad situation. For me, when I was divorced, I got divorced. I needed to start a whole new life. And you know what? You started from zero, and look at me today, 15 years doing this. But the feeling of being without, I will never want that again in my life. And I think people know that feeling. They know what that feels like, to be kind of worried about, well, how am I going to do this? And financial freedom, that's what you want everybody to have.
Yeah.
Go ahead. What's your final words for today?
It is very peaceful to know that you have wealth. It's very peaceful to know that you're going to have a meal tomorrow. It's very peaceful to know that you don't have to worry about putting gas in your car.
It's also peaceful to know that you don't have that. You can do whatever you want if you want to do whatever that is. But
Yeah.
you want to also know that you're playing things smart, knowing how to do not just the bills, but also how to build this money and how to build wealth by even in the stock market. If that's it, maybe it's buying, investing, whatever that is. And this is what he teaches. You can check him out on his website. It's actionablefinancialliteracy.com. You can get that book here, on the website. You can also get it at amazon.com. 3-time best-selling author. Call in here. Get it from me for free. Our number here, 602-277-5369.